Welcome back to the Creative Lens. So apparently you can just buy the Insta360 Luna Ultra now? Yeah, the boys break down this surprising drop, what seemed to be in the middle of the night. And they talk about a new camera, the Bosma Vega H2 that just dropped from China. And Jake breaks down everything he saw at this year's Cine Gear, all the new gear, all the new tech, and things that he's interested in this week. Stay tuned.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome to the Creative Lens. Jake, how's it going, brother?
It's good, man. I am needing this coffee today. I am so tired. So, you saw the energy in the intro. I don't know if I'm going to bring it today, but we'll see. We got some fun stuff we're going to talk about.
Dude, well, so you've got a gig tomorrow, so we're doing this a day early, which is cool. We're throwing it in a day early, but
nothing like a 24-hour notice before a job, though.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Like, hey, let's book a flight on Tuesday night for Thursday morning.
But that kind of gave us the jump on this Insta360. Let's get into this Insta360 launch thing, because this is freaking wild to me. I always feel like we talk about so much camera gear and announcements and stuff on this live show, and I'm just like, it can't get weirder. And now it's weird.
But it seems like every week something's happening.
Yeah. And so this was
literally like every week or every other week, somebody's dropping something. There's some big announcement. It's wild.
Yeah. Well, this is just a weird botched one, I think. Like, if anybody here, like, chime in, man. It is such a weird announcement. It kind of just reminds me, we talked about GoPros, or not GoPros, DJI's Pocket 4, that they were debuting at Cannes, and then it just like they never did anything with it.
Which I have some I got some tea on that.
I love it. We're going to break down all of everything that you saw at Cine Gear, which is awesome. But like, let's get into it. So they just in literally, like the announcer said, in the middle of the night, dropped the Luna Ultra is now for sale. Live. You can go buy it right now, which is crazy. So they officially won the race, at least between Insta360 and DJI, right? Like
the dual camera gimbals.
Yep. Yeah. And I was shocked at this. You can go on, like, I checked on Amazon, and like it'll show up tomorrow. Like, crazy.
B&H is new item coming soon.
Right. And this one's like, it'll get there tomorrow. Yeah, right here. Free shipping tomorrow by 5 a.m. or something like that. And so that's why I was like, B&H, okay, like you pre-listed it on B&H because it says, coming soon. But no, I mean, anybody want to like fact check that, go order it. Let's see if it shows up tomorrow. I don't know if I want to drop almost $800 on it, but it's there. The crazy thing is,
I might have to, bro. I might have to.
Yeah. I don't know if you follow Philip Bloom. I saw this on Facebook, and I was like, this is what made me pay attention yesterday. So Philip Bloom, cinematographer, does a whole bunch of camera tests. Like, I've followed him since film school days. He's really thorough with his camera reviews. And he posted this yesterday at 10:07 a.m. said, whoops, this must have been a mistake because B&H has it listed. And so this is the craziest part to me, though. This is like the weirdest drama on this, where he goes, I've been testing the Insta360 Luna Pro, and it's pretty good. Working on a review, but they told me again today, so that would have been yesterday morning, there's no release date and no price has been set yet. So obviously he posted this at 10 a.m. going, this as, B&H has done that in the past, where they like accidentally leak a new camera or a new piece of gear by putting it on their website. So like he lists this like it's a joke. 12 hours later, Amazon's got it. It'll ship to your door. Like, how wild is that, man?
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So wait, I'm confused though. He was talking about the Luna Ultra Pro, or is that the DJI?
This is the Luna. So he's been testing both. I'll jump back to this. So he's been testing both, but this is the Insta360 Luna Ultra.
Okay. And
that is the one that he said.
Scroll back up. Scroll back up.
This is the beginning of his post.
Testing but he said Luna, like Insta360's Luna Pro, but this is the Luna Ultra. So I didn't know if there was a difference or he mistyped something.
This is, you got to let that coffee hit you. No, this is the Luna Ultra. This is that maybe this is what you're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, wait,
that is this combo right here. Like that's what he's talking about. So he took a snapshot of saying
the Luna Pro versus the Luna Ultra. So I didn't know if there was
there a
difference to them. I haven't been following close enough, so I don't know. That's what I'm like.
Yeah, okay. I think this is the Luna Ultra. The DJI 4 Pro, that's DJI's version.
I'm going to jump in here for a second because I was at Cine Gear, right? I go up to the 360 booth, right? And, Insta360. And I'm like, all right, boys, you guys got the Luna? And they're like, nope, it's not here. Not here. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, hey, so do we have a timeline? Do we have any announcement on anything? And the first dude was like, honestly, don't know. And you could tell like the dude did not know. Like he legitimately, like it looked almost like he was a day player. Like, Insta360 hired him. He's a college student and like is getting paid $16 an hour. Doesn't know anything. However, he then transferred me to another guy to answer a couple of my questions. And he said, I know, but I can't say anything. And I went, so I was like, okay, maybe end of summer. We're talking about maybe July, August.
Right.
3 days later, which to me, again, is so baffling. It's like, why didn't they have it at Cine Gear?
Yeah.
Like, that would have been the perfect opportunity to get a tremendous amount of hype on it. You had a tremendous amount of filmmakers in Los Angeles willing and ready to post about it.
Right.
Saying, hey, this is dropping in 2 days.
Yeah, you had a built-in market for it. And
literally free promotion. If you had like 4 of those that people can hold, take videos of, like you would have had so much organic social from it. Like it's insane. Like my feed is now just Cine Gear.
Yeah, pretty much. Mine too.
And so you would have had so much organic free content. And so just miscommunication from the teams.
It's a weird drop. I wonder though, if they were, and I have no idea, this is just speculation from 2 guys that don't know anything. Right. But like, I wonder if they were trying so hard to get the drop on, make sure their camera went out before DJI could get theirs out.
Yeah.
That they literally didn't tell any of the people that were beta testing it, any of the creators that they're working with. They didn't even tell their own team, like, was that it? The funny thing is, so we know DJI's got their thing. It's banned in the state, so you can't get it. But Extra, which is definitely not DJI. It's definitely not a DJI shell company, right? They dropped this. I thought this was so funny. This hit my feed. They posted it 5 hours ago. So this is their response. And I just love this. This to me makes me feel like y'all got caught off guard a little bit. They said, okay, we know your feed's been full of pocket cameras lately, ours too. So here's a little sneak peek of what the Extra Muse 2 Pro test unit's been cooking. So like literally last night, Luna goes on sale and they're like, oh shoot, we gotta put something out quick. Put something out. Let's get these creators.
That's a good
out
move
there.
though on them.
Yeah. So they've got
17 stops of dynamic range.
See, so
I'm
Luna
like,
says
really?
the same thing. Here's what I think it is, and I don't know. I don't have the camera to test it, but all of these action cameras have gotten really good, including, I mean, and I'd say the iPhone started it. This tone mapping, where you're like actually in real time, it's pulling
like
out
HDR without being HDR.
Right. Well, and some of these cameras are smart enough to understand what the sky is versus what just blue is. Like they're not just chroma keying. They're actually using, when they say they've got their newest AI chip in there, I really think a lot of this is tone processing to get, these shots from the Extra the new Extra Pro.
It's pretty impressive.
Awesome. It looks like they have optimized their dynamic range, but then it's just really, is it really truly going to be that latitude of dynamic range, or are you going to be constant to the processing power, of,
and how much like GoPro, how much post-processing did they do on this to get it to look like that? And that's always the question that I have with these.
I would think that most of that stuff is processed in the camera, because what I have seen, like DJI doesn't do it as much. Extra doesn't seem to be doing a lot of it. I follow their channel and I like on Instagram, and they're funny, but they seem to just kind of pull stuff off the camera and go. I don't know how much processing they actually do. This is DM Productions has the Luna, and so he released a review of it. And so you can see like some of this stuff. Usually when you shoot straight in daylight, it looks really good, because you actually don't have that much dynamic range. Like everything is bright. It's harder when you start getting into these, like you start pixel peeping into some of these shadows.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint, let's see few more of his, like my biggest complaint on the Insta360 workflow has always been the color science. And it looks like this is better, but I wouldn't put this as like amazing color science footage.
Yeah, like I mean, again, the use case that we look at it for, I mean, that you and I constantly chat about is like a great vlog behind the scenes to replace the iPhone. I want something to replace the iPhone. Yep. And it's like that. It's built-in gimbal. This is the TikToks, the Instagram Reels, the vlogging, the really just simple setup. Like, okay, great. Can this look good? But like, this is obviously all log right here.
Right. This is exactly why. Let me see. Now I have to figure out which way I'm pointing because we changed the layout. This is the reason why I didn't get it. And we were kind of chatting back and forth with Todd, who's been on our show. I was on Todd's show earlier this week. And I said in our show a couple of weeks ago, I will not buy another one of these until they can integrate vertical video natively.
So, well, I have some kind of let me jump to me for a second.
Amazing.
At Cine Gear, there was a DP at the Nanlite booth who happened to have the 4P.
Nice.
And so this is not him. This was another gentleman. This was the gentleman right here. And so what was very interesting about it was it doesn't flip. But like any other camera, if you just turn it on its side, it will shoot vertical.
Right.
But you have to hold it now. Ironically, you have to hold it horizontally for it to shoot vertically.
That's a cop out. That's a dumb answer. I mean, I get it, but I want to see if I've got a.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. It's not the smartest thing, but that solves a little bit of like, oh, we can shoot vertical. You just have to like. But I've seen like small rig makes grips that what.
Yeah, I was trying to look at because Philip Bloom mentioned that too. So the issue is, and if any of you guys that are watching have done this, like when you turn the camera sideways, you no longer have the same amount of motion in all of the axes. So you hit limits. Sure. It's really not user intuitive to turn that sideways. So for a clip, like that's what I've said. But also, how is that different than the DJI Pocket 3, which I have? Because that doesn't do native. You just turn it sideways and now you can shoot it. But it's so difficult, especially panning up and down. You end up hitting because those are now lateral limits, right? You hit those limits so much faster than if you had native. If you just turned the camera, now you have native.
Brother, I am on the same page as you. We are on the same page. Come on, Insta360, DJI. What was that? Extra? What is the brand called again?
Extra. Yeah.
Extra. Somebody make a natively vertical gimbal camera. Like, because honestly, that's so much of what is needed these days. And DJI has the technology. They do it. They've been doing it for 5 years in their Mavics.
Dude, we didn't even cover this one on the channel because it was silly. Let me take that off, put this back on. We did not cover this. But here's another one that was like jumping into it. Canon put their patents out for a gimbal style camera. A lot of people have talked about this one. It's just on the patent phase. These are all AI generated, so don't believe this. This is just the patents that they filed. But like, maybe they can. I don't know. That looks more like in the renderings, in the patent renderings, it looks more square. Maybe they'll be able to do it.
That might be interesting to have an open gate. If you had like a square open gate gimbal like that, that you just went like, great. It's a, instead of a horizontal based sensor, it's a square sensor, and you have the auto crops. I mean, it's a little stupid, but because you're not getting it fully, but like you go, great, I want to shoot, and it doesn't need to rotate. But the rotation's not that hard. The technology exists. DJI's, but again, been doing it for 5 years now.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, and like we talked about, Open Gate's great, but Open Gate almost gives you a new problem with these little cameras. What are these cameras for? We want them for behind the scenes, quick social media content, like stuff to post from our work, right? If I am now shooting everything in Open Gate and I have to go in and crop it all, I have to now go in and edit it either on my phone or back home in the studio. Like that's not the point. I just want the thing to turn. It's very cool. Both of these cameras have stepped up. The DJI 4 Pro looks awesome. This Luna is a great addition because it's more competition. Love that. I will put my credit card down when I can turn the camera natively. Just let me turn the camera natively. We can lead into the wild announcement from China. This, what's it called? It's the Bosma Vega. Okay, have you heard of this camera company at all? Have anybody?
No, was not at NAB and was not at Cine Gear to my knowledge.
Okay, it's the strangest camera company. It is, so this is kind of what the camera looks like. This was the announcement that I saw. They must have just announced it a day or two ago.
Rotate the freaking sensor.
Dude, you can rotate. Let me pull this up. This is their introduction video to it. It's a Chinese company, and they have been doing optics. Their website says optics for 20 years. They've got this whole system now where, and the top handle 6, so it's integrated. You can see up like in this top handle integration. So they have a LiDAR system that's integrated into it. That's how they solved this PL. And you can see right here. So you can rotate the entire, here's the lens mount. And let me see if they get to show you how they rotate. Here you go. Look, the whole thing rotates. So you want to shoot integrated vertically, the screen rotates, and now everything's kind of rotated. That also means you can shoot all of your
that's kind of amazing though.
It's kind of brilliant the way they did it. Now, the next evolution of this, can I just push a button and rotate the sensor instead of having to like manually rotate it? But I think the flip side of that is manual things break less. And this is them showing, so you've got integrated LiDAR follow focus. So it's all integrated in, right? So instead of the DJI, you have that little screen that you have to try and calibrate all of your lenses on. This is all built in. This thing was cool. I don't know if you caught them sliding that in. They have a variable electronic ND that slides into the sensor. Look, they dropped that in. Now you have variable electronic ND that kind of slides in post sensor, pre-lens. So they kind of built in, they took everything that we've been, putting into camera tech, and they kind of built it into one Pixis looking body. SDI output, you have 3G SDI in and out, you have HDMI, you have Ethernet for NDI support, you have a built-in NPF battery or a built-in V-mount battery. It's interesting.
And it's only $5,000.
Yeah. 6K open gate. Now I did some digging. What sensor are they using? They don't specify it off the, off of these reports. B&H
says it's a CMOS
Yes, but I'm saying like, do we know dynamic range because it's in, you know, is it in the the GH, the new whatever S2 camera, or whatever
stops dynamic range, at least B&H. I'm looking at B&H right now.
Yep.
You know.
It's
share
cool.
my screen for a second.
I think I've got, you can do that. I've got the news article that's pulled up as well.
Where it's saying, 14 stops of dynamic range, 24 CMOS sensor, it's interesting. It could, it's, and for $5,000.
I like the idea of you're kind of innovating on how do we shoot vertical without having to turn the camera? Because that's what DJI's explanation. Oh, just turn your gimbal that you spent $800 on and it'll work, kind of. So this one's like, no, you can rotate the whole sensor. The funniest thing to me,
I think it's meant for that, like, especially if you look at a lot of, especially in China, where what's the I think it's the largest, or at least I know it's the biggest trending thing, is all these new vertical dramas.
Yep.
Right. So if this camera for $5,000 can be the camera for those vertical dramas, which are now, gaining massive speed out here in the States. But if this could be that camera, 6K vertical, ready to go out the box, like, and shooting on native PL with EF or M options, like, you're pretty set. Like, that's really solid, especially for these vertical dramas, which try to keep it cheaper. They try to make it faster. They're trying to just, bust these things out.
Yeah.
Like, now the biggest uphill is going to be in the Westerns, in the West, in my opinion, is just the China brand aspect of it, that it's not a known entity out here yet.
Right.
But look at what DJI did. Look at what Insta360 did. Like, you just got to work your way into the market, and then boom.
Yeah. We covered Kinefinity last show, and that's another brand that was.
I got some news on Kinefinity.
Dude, all right. So I think we need to roll in. So I saw those two things. The last thing I will say that was just my dyslexic brain that I laughed at. I debated not covering this. Let me see. Because when I read this article, right, it was kind of breaking down this I totally read this headline as it has an integrated VHS system in it. And because we kind of talked offline, we haven't covered it here. You can probably touch on it. I'm sure it was at Cine Gear, but there's a 16 millimeter film camera that also has a digital sensor. So you have digital dailies with 16 millimeter film. I was reading it was another kind of anti-AI indie film that just got released that is going like straight to VHS as like an anti-AI kind of a hard copy first thing. So I read this and I was like, all right, that's cute. You can film in VHS. This is HVS is for you, those of you that are dyslexic like I am, that is horizontal vertical system, not VHS like the tapes you had to rewind before you returned it to Blockbuster.
Video home system.
Yeah. So that was just the funniest thing. I was reading through this article this morning, like, do we talk about this? And I thought, I don't need an integrated VHS system. It's a cool camera. So more to come from as these guys kind of launch this camera a little bit more and we get some hands on it. But you went to Cine Gear.
I did go to Cine Gear, but before we get into that, I have one last camera update that was not officially on our program, but I'm going to go a little rogue for a second because I don't know if you know about this, but did you know about that Sony just went 65?
Yes.
You saw this?
Yeah. It's insane for their Burano and their Venice systems.
For their Venice 2s. So they basically have this Rialto 65 prototype that you basically just put onto the Venice 2, and now you're shooting 65 on a Venice. And
it's a wild looking system that they basically detached the sensor from the brain. So you're plugging in the sensor into the Venice 2 to kind of do all of your like data capture and recording, right? But like now you've got 65 millimeter on the Venice 2. Yeah.
And, you know, I haven't looked too much into it, but we're talking cameras, we're talking this. I thought from a high end, you know, take it, you know, I gotta just put a little plug for this going on right now, which was pretty cool. Which I was
Did you happen to see what that would run you? That Sony, like the cinema system for Sony is like wildly expensive. You're not buying this as a content creator, but I didn't see a price tag on it yet.
No, I haven't looked at it yet.
Yeah.
But, you know, I did go to Cine Gear.
Yeah.
So where we're seeing all the fun stuff. So I wanted just to I brought a photo of this just for funds.
This was on the Universal backlot?
So it was on the Universal lot. I haven't gone since 2019 when it was at Paramount. So like I know they didn't do it for a little bit because of COVID, and then you know I hadn't gone in the last year or so. But a lot of walking. It was spread out pretty much over the entire lot, as you see right here. And they were in a couple different sound stages, and then basically took over most of the New York area backlots. So kind of wanted just to walk you through my journey in terms of like what we saw, you know, what all went down.
Yeah.
So, you know, a fun little, you know, they mocked up, you know, putting signs on the back lots, which was a lot of fun. One of the things I saw was the Pixis 12K. So I never actually got my hands on one before. And so this was kind of the coolest thing to see was the actual screen, and to be like that it was just like, I was like, what? And so like, if you see here, like literally it shoots 12K open gate 3x2. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
But then also like, okay, you could shoot anamorphic, 241.
Yep.
But in any of these, in 12K, 4K, in 9K, 8K, 4K. And I was like, oh my God. And it's a $5,600 camera.
Can we please shout out how beautiful that menu system is? I know you run a couple of Blackmagics. I've been in the Blackmagic system forever. They just, man, they dialed in an operating system. I don't know another operating system that's better than Blackmagic's. It's so easy to use.
It's so easy. And then I went.
Maybe Ari's. That's it.
And saw the 17K.
Yeah.
65, 17K. And oh my God. But what was fascinating was they went the opposite with the 17K.
Yep.
It's much more meant for because again, like I know of the cameras, but I've never actually like looked into them because I'm like, I am not getting a 12K camera. I'm not getting a 17K camera. Like, but I might now. And
yeah,
but what was so cool was to see the use cases for these cameras. Like, why would I use this for what project? Right? Like this, I wouldn't 100% be using for anamorphic because it's made for with this menu, and it's like with how the sensor is built out and set up. And I just thought it was absolutely fun.
Yeah. The cool thing about the Pixis 12K, because you and I got to kind of talk offline about that camera. That's been on my list. The fact that it just got approved for Netflix use, like that is such a powerhouse of a camera. And I'm with you in the mindset of like, why am I ever going to need to shoot 12K? My issue, we've talked about this on a couple shows ago, is always sensor readout speed, because with these type of cameras, right, you don't have a red global shutter system. So you are on an electronic shutter, which means you have rolling shutter as the sensor reads the whole thing. My issue when they announced this is they took the 12K, they took the Ursa Cine 12K LF sensor, which is an amazing sensor. They put it in this tiny little body, which it's a small camera for a 12K camera, right? Like when you hold those things, you're like,
it's not a it's a pocket camera essentially.
Yeah,
like it's a small cine camera.
But so in what's strange and where they cut some corners is that on the 12K Cine, the Ursa Cine 12K, that sensor can read out at like 8 milliseconds, which is crazy fast for a 12K sensor. In the Pixis, because I don't think they could get quite the same like power draw through the camera because it's such a smaller camera. It's slower to like 15 to 24 milliseconds in 12K. But so like then you're really talking about like, are you shooting fast moving things? Are you shooting handheld a lot? Like you'll notice it on those scenarios. And that's where I would want to pick this camera up, is if we're, doing a documentary, or like you're traveling with it, because it's such a small footprint. If you drop it to 8K or 4K, you get down to like 8 milliseconds and less, which is now competing better. We talked about that Canon R6V. That one was 12 milliseconds. So you're like competing in a very fast sensor speed at that point. So I wouldn't love using that camera because of how slow the sensor is on handheld at 12K, but at 8K and 4K, it's like a freaking awesome beast of a camera. And you get all those, like going back to that picture you showed, you get all those different flavors of codecs in there, which is, yeah, dude, I can't say enough nice things about that Pixis 12K. It's a sweet camera. And the 17K looks like a beast.
Yeah. And speaking of the Canon, I got
all right. Hey, I like these transitions, man. You are flowing. We've said this camera wrong every show that we've talked about it. This is the R6V.
I still don't know the name of it. But there it is.
No, this is the C camera, right? Because I see the stand. This is the R6V.
Yeah, the R6V.
Nice.
So here it is, and it was okay. I was like, so I'll be frank.
Yeah,
I was not blown away.
What didn't blow you away about it?
It felt just like another Canon camera. Like, cool. Yeah, it has some of the upgrades, but I'm like, I didn't have the R6 Mark II, right?
Yeah.
And I was like getting more into the world of like, oh, I'm going from like a small pocket camera or an iPhone or a gimbal camera, like, a DJI. This would intrigue me.
Yeah.
But I'm at a level where I'm like, cool. Maybe I need the Pixis 12K. Maybe I need the Kinefinity. Like, I kind of need that next level of gear. And this still felt prosumery. It didn't feel that next level. And it was fine. Like, it had a power zoom. It has power zoom on it now, which was kind of interesting. And that's with the new lens, the 20 to 50. And as you see at the top right, you have the toggle button that is the power zoom, which was cool. Okay. But again, I think it's like $2,500. And I was like, oh, okay. But
yeah,
where you can get a Blackmagic Pixis, 4K or 12K, whatever, it's not the 6K. Like, it's so fascinating having looked at all of these cameras and really seeing the difference, like the use cases for each of them. And like almost purchasing them doesn't matter, or like depending on what you shoot. And depending on like, are you wanting to use different lenses? Like, are you wanting to like I want to go anamorphic and I want to go spherical. I'm shooting sports. Well, certain cameras lend yourself more to sports, as we're talking about with shutters, like with global shutter and whatnot, and sensor readings. So
yeah,
it was interesting. I was not like, if I had a bunch of EF glass, I have some, but if I had a bunch of EF glass, maybe it's a good B camera, but like, moving up like in the cinema space, like I was like, okay. What I mean, fine.
Is it because we've covered so many cameras here over the last, 2 months of doing this show?
Well,
is that part
right
of it?
Before I kind of messed up this so I went and let me see if I can add a video last second. I know we're throwing audibles.
Well, I would say
only allows me to put in, so many videos.
I know. Take your other off, but you actually nailed it, and I think it's interesting in your evolution. But when you just said today that if you were moving up from like a very consumer camera, or you were looking for your first kind of hybrid video camera, you'd be super interested in that R6V. I think that's where they really put a great mark in. That's their market. And when we originally covered this on their launch day, or the day after they launched everything, you said, oh, I could get 3 of these and that could be my podcast studio. I think those are great use cases for it. I think they really positioned themselves well, where like, if I need an A, B, and a C camera that can all match together, dude, I'd be excited for that camera for $2,500, good codecs, good Canon color science. You just know it's going to work. I think they positioned themselves in a really smart way there. But if you watch their launch video for the thing, it was a creator camera. I mean, they had like a vlogger, like a content creator vlogger as part of their like keynote about the thing. So they're really going after that market.
And that's what it feels like. It feels like a great streaming camera, a camera that just won't overheat and will just run video. And, it's got the push, the push zoom, like a lot of just really like, it's a great content creator camera. And that's good to an extent.
Yeah.
So, I did what is up right now. So we're going to remove that.
I run camera. Are you based here in LA?
So I saw the Canefinity Vista.
Very nice.
And it's very funny. We had, we started putting out the clips from last week's episode, and I just saw me hating on the camera and just being like, yeah, you don't need to get this camera. This camera's stupid. It's not even worth it. Why are you even doing this? What? I don't get it. I don't understand. I rescind everything I said. I really like it. I really like it.
Yeah.
But there's some pros and cons of it. So let me break it down, because pros. So
walk through that video though. Let me see. If you put that back up, the handle is cool. So you've got a battery on the handle. Is that a run? Do you have a record button on that handle?
No.
Or are they just running power
This was for the EV electronic viewfinder.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So sorry, I was interested in why you were running power to that. And I love like a hot record button on a handle, because reaching into the camera usually is like the worst way of doing it. So break me down. Break it down. I became a fan of it. So there was definitely some things that I learned that I was like, oh, okay. This is not just $2,000 or $2,500. This is right.
A little bit more there, a little bit more there, a little bit more there. Okay, fine. Like I put a kit out on B&H and it's like $4,000. So, but
where did you see? Because one thing I always find interesting with these modular box cameras is they rely on, like, you can get away with a $2,000 body if you have modular accessories that you're used to having. So where did you find that you were adding the most cost when you were going, oh, okay, no, I need that. Oh, okay, I need that.
Let me see if I pull up my B&H card, because it's just sitting there.
Because if that's the Canefinity EVF, it's really good. Like, I like that Canefinity EVF.
Yeah. Okay, so I have 2 different things in here, but
sure.
Basically, it comes out with the body and a couple of things with it, but like a battery. But the battery has a 3-hour lifespan. Like
allegedly.
Running allegedly, yes. And supposedly then it takes like an hour and a half to charge.
Yep.
So you can hotspot batteries without oh crap, Now, the Kinfinity mount, you're going to need a Kinfinity adapter.
Right.
So that I didn't realize. I thought it was a mount that automatically was able to take an EF, a PL, etc. No, that's not true. What you're going to need
be a wild mount.
Well, that's what I was like, yo, wait, what? Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, it's not as like, that was one of the things I was like, oh, okay. Well, you need to spend another $600 on an EF mount and then another $600 on a PL mount. So it's like any other adapter.
Yep.
Okay, fine. You can.
So the pro on that though is that, and you just listed two that are very easy to adapt to. I think the pro are the other mirrorless systems. Mostly like when I brought this up last week was you can't find another adapter to an E lens. An EF you can get to. An RF, much harder because of the flange distance. That's the magic. That's the secret sauce on the Kini mount. That is, you're going to have to adapt it. But the fact that you can adapt it to basically anything is hard to find.
Though. That's the thing. I don't actually think you can. Like, to my knowledge, you can't.
What is that? What do you mean?
I'd have to look more into it. But like, I don't think they have adapters to everything. Like, you still have to adapt it. Like, they weren't saying you can go to RF. They weren't saying you can go to E.
You can go to E. I know that. But if I don't, because I don't have RF glass, so I wouldn't need to know. But that's interesting.
So some pros and cons of it. We'll just, open it up here. So what I really liked was, it comes out the box, and I really looked at it as like a next grade up in terms of cinema cameras. Like, it reminded me very much of like early Blackmagic cameras, of like the 4K, the 6K pocket cameras, of like, oh snap, okay, now we're back in that where yes, you don't have Blackmagic RAW, but you're shooting, ProRes, 422. Like, you get that nice cinema look, but on the prosumer level, and just for a small body that can be rigged out. And then, what was cool though, it has a 215 gigabyte internal SSD.
Yeah.
So if you're shooting projects, like, you don't need the CF Express B for it. You don't need to have it. But what you can also do is you buy the accessory kits, the Core or the Pro, which let me just open up. The Core comes with a 512 gigabyte card, which is already, it's $500, which I think that's about the price of a card in general right now. Comes out with a handle grip, 2 batteries, and yes, some cables. But the batteries themselves and this specifically Kini Mag card, like, now you're talking about 700, plus gigs, like, that you could just run with. And the cool thing with the Pro is that it comes with the cage, a top handle, batteries, and 2 cards. And so you're pretty much set. So look, I saw it as a pretty solid setup, because for me, at the end of the day, where I really liked it from a social standpoint, oh no, it's here. Was what my back end. There we go. Doing too many things at once and this was just a nerdy thing, and I probably can do this on other cameras or with another monitor. But what I liked about the open gate, because we've talked about, how do we take advantage of open gate as content creators and as filmmakers? And this was it right here, because I shoot a lot of podcasts, and we do a lot of, horizontal and vertical at the exact same time. is that you can set your grid lines, you can move them. So for example, if you set your frame and you go, great, how do I make it fit for both? You can see right there very easily. So that those reds are your horizontal frames, your 9x16s, then you have your 16x9s, but you can adjust them. So if you're like, oh, that's too much headroom there, great. Well, let me just adjust the frame and adjust the grid line so you know it fits for both. And I was like, that right there might just be worth the $2,000.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
for sure.
Other monitors can do this. I just haven't looked into it as much, but that's a really awesome feature because it's open gate 6K that I was like, I like that better than the Canon. Yes, you don't have autofocus, but
yeah, you get the wild thing. Here's a funny thing. I don't know if because you're not a Sony shooter, but I remember when they came out with this as an update, I think it was around the A7S3 FX3 launch. You had to, for Sony, you have to buy their custom grid line license for $149, and then they let you put on custom grid lines like this. So as much as you say maybe you can, I remember when I forgot to share this one. This is Sony's. Like, just to put on custom grid lines was $150. You have to buy their special license for this. So knock that off of the price of your Kinefinity because they include it. It's a silly thing, but it does, it's wild that Sony was charging us for it.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that I was like, that is like, it's content creator forward, but it also is very doc forward, just commercial. Basically anybody who works in the filmmaking side, but on the advertising side and the marketing side, it is an unbelievably valuable tool that great, you're shooting an interview, you're going to have vertical deliverables, but you can also set a third one if you want it square. So it's fully customizable to go, how am I delivering this? Am I delivering this in what format? Let me make sure I'm good. And to have that I was just like, okay, yeah.
And I know I brought it up, is it my camera? It's probably not my next camera, but if you can get your exposure close and your white balance right, ProRes is a beautiful codec to edit in. You don't I feel like that's another marketing term that everybody wants open gate, everybody wants raw, but ProRes is such a smooth, easy codec to work with.
Especially ProRes 422, full, the full 422, that's solid.
This was just clarifying. You can get this adapter for Sony E-mount. And even when you go into buying the Vista, right, they give you the option of you have the PL, the Kine mount, or you can get that E-mount. But and they're all the same. And it's wild to me. I mean, probably because it's still on pre-order, but it's still $500 off on a pre-order. You get it under $2,000.
And that's where that basically, if you get, to share my screen for a second, where if you get the core, right, with the mag, with the extra batteries, with the handle, it's $500. That's the price of it. You can buy that core accessory kit plus the camera, and now you're paying full price for the camera, but you're getting all this additional stuff.
You know,
and that's what I was like, ooh. But what I love about it is that this camera can work great for social and for just corporate videos where you want it very simple, you're shooting corporate and great, we need a 2-camera setup, or you need a 3-camera setup for podcasts, because they don't need RAW or anything like that for any corporate videos.
No, you need to deliver fast.
Yeah. And so shooting ProRes, or even, you're shooting a client and your silly social media content, shoot H.264, H.265, fine.
Yeah.
But then you want to shoot something, then you want to throw on an anamorphic like this, I got to see Problem is I got too many freaking pages open. Too many things. Oh, I took it down. I don't have it set up. Oh man, I almost had my shit together.
Yeah, it's okay, buddy.
The coolest thing, like not the coolest thing, but we talked about it last week. And I did my homework. I went and saw the DZOs.
Nice.
So we were talking about the DZOs last week, and we were like, oh, it's super amber. Those were just for the protos.
Yeah, they weren't amber. Delivered. Yeah, they won't deliver ambers.
That was something I think we might have talked about it offline. Well, I was like,
we talked about
I don't like the flare, but I looked at them and I'm like, look, they're not bad.
Yeah.
They're it's a solid setup. But what was also very cool, which man, StreamYard just doing me dirty with not enough. That Cook has a small body.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull those up.
So while you're pulling that up, I will go back to the conversation we had on the DZOs. Yeah. My issue with the DZOs the Arcanas, because you're talking about these Arcanas. So the only thing that I noticed, you are correct. They have a neutral flare as their release. They sent out like a blue and an amber as different prototypes. So some YouTubers are testing different flare versions. My issue is it was blocky. It was like, it was a very hard blue line or a very hard colored line where, some of the other 2X anamorphics have a little bit of a softer bleed. I feel like the hard blue line feels very sci-fi.
I agree. To me, it didn't have enough character. And it felt very like, boom, anamorphic. Okay. Like it's part of why you want to get a lens is that there's something slightly unique about it. And I didn't have because my phone light was the really good light that was creating good flares for the Cooks. So after Cine Gear, there's a local place, right? There's a local rental house called Hot Rod Cameras out in Burbank. Shout out to Hot Rod. And they host Cine Beer. So fun little story on this. I had it in my calendar and my wife goes, oh, why is there Cine Beer on Sunday? Isn't it Cine Gear and isn't it on Saturday? And she deletes it off my calendar.
Oh, no.
I'm like, what? No. Cine Beer is on Sunday. Cine Gear is on Saturday. I haven't put Cine Gear on the calendar, but I know it's there. Don't worry about it. And she's like, what is that? I'm like, it's Hot Rod Cameras does this thing after. And I talked to Ilya, the owner of Hot Rod Cameras, when I was there. And he's like, we did one in 2017 or in 2016. He went to Cine Gear. He said he spent a ton of money and like got no business. Like it was the biggest waste of money and time and energy. So he was like, if I'm going to spend all this time and money and energy, might as well just throw a party. So he hosts a big party the day after. There's food trucks, beer, raffle giveaways, but not everybody, a lot of the companies at Cine Gear just go to Cine Beer the day after, and it's super chill. It's a hangout. It's a lot of fun. So
nice.
And one of the things that I saw when I was there were these Cook anamorphic IS3s. And I thought like these had character, in my opinion. Like these I thought were much better than the DZOs. Now, they are more expensive.
Right.
They're not. Okay, I don't have it all pulled up, and I thought that might be easier. But they look great. I mean, come on. Like there was just some actually great just how they look was so beautiful as a lens.
So I was looking, the only thing I had a question about was that's why. So here's my only complaint on those, which is I mean, it's great. So that IS35, you're only covering Super 35. That's why it says S35. So that's the only thing that's cut. I mean, I'm not spending 30. So there, IS35 Cook 135 T2.3 is on sale right now at B&H for, do you have it? Yeah. $30,000. I'm not in the market for that, but I've seen, Sure has a couple of them that are, so that's the problem, is right here, covers the Super 35 format. So
I might have the wrong, I thought,
because Cook has a bunch of different
I might have pulled up the wrong, I pulled up the wrong ones. Sorry. I pulled up the wrong ones. It's actually the AP3s.
Oh yeah, those are
so these are not what I was talking about. Sorry, I rescind what I was saying. What actually, if you want to pull it up on your back end, is the AP3s. Now they only have it in 3 sizes, and it says inquire, but like the
means normal human.
The other ones, the S35s, like those are the big, but like those are like the legit Cooks,
right?
But full frame, 3 full frame anamorphic primes designed from ground up for your mirrorless cameras. Like these are designed for them.
And you have, I can share mine here.
That's where, like, if you see a little bit of like, let me see if I can play a show reel from these, where like these were again more, oh, this is the legacy reel. This is not what I wanted to play, but like, they just have, they had that, like, it's like meant for the single operator, but the reason why I say this is because it goes back to the Kinefinity, was like to rent a set of these and then be able to put that on a Kinefinity with a PL mount, like,
right,
that's pretty rad. Or, get the E mount of these, or, whatever, and throw it on a Kinefinity, and you have that amazing Cook glass on a $2,000 camera. Like, it's going to look fantastic. Like, I shot with the non-anamorphic versions on these, the S35Is, on the FX3, and I made 3 short films with those, and they look great. Yeah.
The issue I'm trying to look at, so that is, we had this conversation when Todd was on, is that because these are, I mean, it's crazy for, it's expensive, but for 23 grand, 22,250, you have the full set of them, and you get the 20, the 35, 50, and 85, and you get the Cooks.
They are Cook lenses.
My issue though is, a lot of these companies are doing it, and it's where we were talking about, like, your next set of lenses. You're stuck in the E mount system, which is very difficult to adapt out. Back to the front of the show, why I was so excited about the Kinefinity. It's the only mount right now that you can even put E-glass on. So my only fear on this one, and it's not just Cook. Cook's probably got the prettiest set of anamorphics for the E-mount, but you have Sure that's doing it, you have DZO that's doing it, you have a bunch of different cheaper lens companies that will, like, that's the discount, is they'll give you these great anamorphics, but for E, where you are not going to be able to adapt it as easily. Those are the things that worry me. I'd rather go, now I'm just going to rent a set of Cooks if I'm going to use Cook lenses, but in terms of the DZOs or Sure, I'm trying to think of the other one that was like huge in it before DZO kind of came and took the spotlight. But like, I'd rather get a PL mount that I know will, as long as, if they're fully manual lenses anyway, what am I gaining by putting them on an E, other than I can't adapt that out to my Red or to an RE later on.
But the thing, like, these lenses do come in E, RF, L, and M, and they are meant for, like, great. You do have, you're shooting Canon, you're shooting Sony. They're not meant for, oh, I'm shooting Venice. Like, no, these aren't meant for those. These, and because I talked to the guy at Cook,
Yeah.
I have a relationship with them, and they're meant for this solo operator.
Right.
Like they're meant for, okay, great. You're shooting FX3. I want to shoot anamorphic, for this project.
Yep.
Or I love anamorphic but I only have an FX3 or an FX6. Great. These are not meant for that top level. These are meant for the mirrorless kind of systems and whatnot. So that's my only point on this. I will share one fun, ridiculous thing, which I sent. Well, two fun things. One last thing from Cine Gear, and then one last thing from Cine Beer. But from Cine Gear, you had two crane companies competing against each other. They were messing around with each other at the end, just throwing it up, throwing it down, and like doing all these fun, crazy moves. And it was just fun to see all the grip guys hanging out, and
love it.
Just was a fun time. Very silly.
Yeah.
Then at Cine Beer, this was my highlight. Is it just here? Just like a second.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Four-wheel drive, a 19-mile distance, and can tow like 1,000 pounds.
Jesus. Like, why would you ever need that? But it's kind of amazing.
Well, like if you're lugging like a bunch of sandbags or whatnot, all your gear, like you could just throw your C-stands in it. And I was like, that's pretty epic. Now it's 50 pounds. It's a lug to get in. Like, I don't know how much you would use it with a car, but to have it in a truck, have it in a G&E truck that you can just throw it in there and then you can just zip to set, like it's a little bit more on the professional level. But I also saw it as like, oh, when I'm a dad in the future, put the two kids in there, we'll go into the farmer's market and, zip around the farmer's market in that.
Yeah.
I was all about
crazy. Yeah, and then you got all your storage to zip back. That's funny. Where do they even hide the batteries? Is it in the drivetrain, like in the bottom?
I think it's in the back.
Also, shout out to whatever camera guy you handed your phone to that recorded his own finger. I love that. That was Ilya, the owner of Hot Rods. He was driving it around, and I was like, he's like, "You want to ride?" I was like, yeah, obviously. And he was explaining to me how it all worked in that beginning. Yeah.
So awesome. those were some highlights from the weekend that I had.
Freaking cool, man. I love it. That'll be on our list to go cover next year. I'm going to make sure. This year was so hard because like Kate was out in LA. I was back here. We were like tag teaming who could be out at what time. And so next year we gotta hit that up.
I realized because like you got so scattered. I do actually have one other fun thing to show if you want to see it.
Let's see it.
So
this should be
this was a cool thing was just the new tech of virtual productions and just to see it in from a car standpoint. And to see the overhead screens of it was pretty rad. And, it was fun that they set it up Jurassic Park style and whatnot.
All LED walls. Is that what they were using?
Just the new wave of virtual production. So
and did they tell you what they were running off of? Because I'm always impressed when you a lot of these are running like Unreal engines where it's all, as you move the camera, your backdrops shift.
I think
around.
there was a little bit of that. Honestly, this was the first thing I walked in to see. This was the very first exhibit, booth. And I was kind of like, okay, all right. So it was a bit much for me in terms of like, what am I doing? Where am I going? Oh,
it's a little overwhelming, especially when you're in a backlot. Like it's not just a NAB in the, convention center. You're like having to navigate working sets basically.
Yeah. So there was one other camera that I didn't tell you about. There's so much. I just keep like trying to load all of this in.
Oh, and then this, and then this, and then this.
Oh my God.
We gotta get StreamYard to allow us more than 10 clips to load.
So try to see if I can load this in relatively quick. But I mean, either way, Oh my God, my computer's now freezing. So what was kind of interesting was this new camera was the Pixboom Spark.
I've seen this. Yeah, they just started shipping this.
Yeah, so it is a new high-speed camera.
Yeah.
And it's like perfect for on-the-go cinema level quality, but you don't want to spend the price tag of a Phantom.
Yep.
And so it was a Kickstarter camera.
Yeah. And they just started shipping these things out.
And they just started shipping it, and they had it at, V-mount on the back. But for any of the action, photographer or videographers and filmmakers or, nature or anything like that, see Cine Gear right here.
Every time I see that camera, it looks like it should be like an Amaran 60-watt light. It always throws me every time I see it. I'm like, that's a light. Oh wait, no, and it's not cheap. It's a cheap Phantom, but it's $14,000.
It's $14,000, yes. But compared to a Phantom, which is $150,000, you add another zero to this.
Yep.
And they comes in E, EF, or PL. Like it was pretty. I was like, okay, I don't have the projects for it, but 1,000 frames per second at 4K, 1,800 frames per second at 2K. It was a pretty cool little camera.
Yeah. Did they tell you? Because I don't know off the top of my head what resolution sensor they're rocking. Is it an APS-C sensor?
We can look.
Because I would say, man, if you're looking for 1,000 frames a second, Super 35?
With global shutter.
Nice. The global shutter is what really makes it. Because, and that's where, when we were talking about GoPro, if you don't have a fast shutter to read this out, you're going to end up with really slow electronic shutter, rolling shutter. So the fact that they've got a global APS-C Super 35, that's killer. And backside illuminated. But yeah, I mean, so you want to spend $800, you can get a GoPro for 960 frames a second, or you step up to a cool 14 grand for the next step up, but you do get a global shutter and a slightly larger sensor.
But it looked very much, you get a much larger sensor, and it was just, again, one of those like, okay, this is kind of rad, and kind of just more options. And that was kind of the biggest thing from NAB. Like, NAB was a bit overwhelming for me because it's everything, right? Where Cine Gear is very much like camera, like it's production. Like, you don't have heavy post-production or really any post-production. It's like we're just in production, right? Where NAB is everything in the video world, from software to post-production, production, pre-production. This is script, and it's a bit. So there's not particularly a lot of new things. But it was like, oh, I can actually go look and see the things that more I care about. Like, so next year, maybe I'm not going to NAB again, but I'm making sure to go to Cine Gear, because it was a lot of the same stuff. It wasn't particularly new. Like, NAB is fun just because you get the energy of it, and it's like, oh yeah, we're out here, Like, unless I'm going with you, I probably won't go to NAB again.
NAB tends to do the drops. Cine Gear tends to be more like one-on-one. You can make more creator relations, and you can like actually sit down and talk to the guys that are running these companies, versus NAB tends to be where everybody brings something brand new to the show. You're right, it's a bigger show. I might consider, like, if we can swing it by next year, I might consider hitting up. I'd hit up both, but we'll see what we can do. But yeah, they're
I say right now, I will probably get tickets for NAB next year anyways. Yeah, because
we'll plan it now. We've only got 11 months to plan it, so I think we could make it happen. The last thing, because this has been on mine and it just makes me laugh. One more just mention of GoPro, because it was on my feed.
We can't go a show without it.
No, it's the fun part. This particular GoPro segment is brought to you by here we go, the ILS. And I always love coming back to like because of how groundbreaking this is. And my feed on Instagram half the time is like reminding me of all the reasons why I thought this was kind of a weird, useless camera. I do like that it's super slow motion, but like, and I'm gonna bring a reference that I don't think I would be impressed if you remember this camera. Do you remember the QX1? This was the strangest Sony release ever. Mechanical shutter, APS-C, no camera body. It was designed for, Sony had this idea that iPhone, cell phone photographers would want a small, pocketable, interchangeable lens system. And so they built this camera with literally a sensor, a shutter, and a lens mount. And you could, and like it, let me pull this back up. And so you just literally, it had a little battery in it, and you would mount your phone to it. And it was the weirdest little camera, but like, it's not game changing to put little cameras on lens. Did you hear about that camera before?
Never heard about that.
Yeah.
I have to say though, I have seen some of the GoPro footage at 960, and how the use cases people are using it is kind of cool. Yeah. Like I'm not getting wrong. Like there was a video I saw of somebody taking a golf swing out the bunker and going 960 and is right at camera. So okay, great. You break a lens, or you do hit the camera. You feel a little less than, it's your FX3. But at 960 to see it all going, or like the going to the camera was kind of a cool shot that I've seen people use with it. That at 960, it is a fun little thing. And for under $1,000, if you have a lens, Micro Four.
I'll be interested to see if they get the ILS out, if they actually get that version out. But yeah, I agree. Some of the stuff that they've been doing, what they haven't fixed. I was on Todd's podcast this last week. He just released his video, and we broke down GoPro's business woes and dramas. The only thing though that still is like, it's still hard because you only have a 10-second buffer, and you have to get it has to be triggered, right? So that's what we were talking about, is still like, if you have a buffer or a trigger like that, like you can't be the one in the golf bunker and the one hitting record, because you'll run out of your buffer.
There you go. Yeah.
You have to have a camera crew with you, which kind of defeats the purpose, but
yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, I did see it there. I got some video footage, but I know we don't care about that. Just going through if there's any last things that I do need to report on from either expo. I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it. I'm going through my phone and just seeing if there's any last, Well,
we'll save whatever else you find in the phone. We'll save till next week, and we'll drop that stuff in there. And I think that'll be our show for next week, my man.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. Until the next one. See you later. Peace.